Here, and I'll explain what this is. More than 60% of the country is potentially up for licence for this ecocidal nightmare. Too many people don't realise what we're in for. You'll find out what we're in for when you watch this film. There are licences springing right across the Kent and Sussex Weald. There is a political mania. David Cameron has said in Europe that no regulation must get in the way. People like Peter Lilly are saying there is no evidence of harm, there's no evidence of contamination, it will bring down energy bills, it will be an employment panacea. None of this is true. A lot of these people are deeply personally invested in the industry. I'm a local resident, I've lived in this community for 18 years, West Hoadley, Asheswood, Sharpthorne, worked in East Grinstead. I've always trusted the system, voted, trusted the police. The last 2 years have opened my eyes hugely. I spent quite a bit of time at the Broken Community Protection Camp. There are a lot of people here who were there. Excuse me, I'm a bit breathless, it's been crazy. They were there on that verge 24/7 with not any traffic, but drilling, chemical emissions. Quadrilla have used all kinds of chemicals in there. There have been misinformation about which ones they're using and which ones they're not using. They've only withdrawn their planning permission, their application to extend their planning permission. So we cannot let our guard down. This is huge. We don't need it. We should. They keep talking about it being a bridging fuel and that we need it until we develop renewables. The reason we haven't developed renewables is because we have been pushing this fossil fuel addiction for decades. And until we get off that and stop extracting them by increasingly very dangerous methods, which hydraulic fracturing for shale gas and oil, excuse me, and coal-bed methane is, we're really in trouble. We've got Josh. I'm going to let Josh speak. I'm going to explain this. This is Lock the Gate. This is what's happening in Australia. 3 companies have pulled out already just because residents have said, you have neither social nor moral licence. Go away. And they've gone away. But one of them, Dart Energy, has come here and is dumping in the Firth of Forth. Quadrilla was sanctioned by the Environment Agency to dump toxic radioactive effluent in the Manchester Ship Canal, supposedly first treated. This is not alarmist, eco-freak nonsense. This is very, very serious. And the reason I brought this, lastly, is because this was posted to me from Pennsylvania, where Josh is from, but not by him, by a Mohawk man. This is the Mohawk Warrior Unity flag, and you may have heard on the news, though you haven't heard enough, that the Mi'kmaq people in so-called New Brunswick in Canada are fighting this same battle, and they've had police firing rubber bullets on elders and children. Romanian farmers are dealing with it, Polish farmers. This is all over Europe, and it's all over the world. And this man and this film will tell you why those of us who've dedicated a lot of our lives to this are doing so.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. It's amazing to be here. People in Balcombe inspire the whole world. I had just finished the first tour of Gasland. We toured all across the United States. We premiered the film on television. The last thing I wanted to do in the week that you guys started was look at anything about fracking on social media or on the internet or anything. I was trying to actually be in my house in Pennsylvania, and the images just kept coming through, and the videos, and all the reports, and it lit the world on fire, and it made people understand that people in England were not going to take this. And I think it was an incredibly important thing that you did, and an incredibly important moment. So I'm just thrilled to be here to show Gasland Part 2. Which is, as you'll see, about an entirely different layer of contamination due to fracking than what we show in the first film. And it's the 45th or 46th city I've been to touring with Gasland 2. There are people all across the world who are in exactly the same position as you are. And we've been trying to get to as many of them as possible and have a talk in the community. The first movie was made out of the back of my car for practically no money. Went into Sundance, got picked up by HBO, was nominated for an Oscar, and was seen by approximately 50 million people worldwide. The second film is on the same sort of track to be distributed in this way. But what's most important to me, apart from showing it on television and reaching this large audience, is to actually have these types of screenings. The first movie began as little bits, 10 minutes at a time, that we were showing, on the back of a truck on the side of the Delaware River. We took the first 8 minutes and we went to every single community board in New York City, 59 community boards, and did presentations. Both of these films were born out of this type of interaction, so it's my favorite thing to do. I'm really happy to be here. We're gonna talk as long as the train schedule allows after the film, so please do stick around for the Q&A. But I just want to say so much that when I'm looking at this from the outside, people are taking notice of what you've done, and it was extraordinarily effective. When I was in the taxi from Heathrow to the Financial Times Shale Gas Forum that I went to, which I'll tell you about, the taxi driver and I had a conversation about fracking. And it's because of Balkan. It's because of how much news you generated and how much controversy you generated. It's so necessary. So thank you so much.
Hooray!
For doing what you've done. It's incredibly brave, incredibly necessary defense of the character and the integrity of your community. So I'm honored to be here. I'm so excited to show you the film, and I'll be here to answer questions, and we'll get some updates after the movie. So thanks so much, and enjoy Gasland Part 2.
Thank you, Josh.